All right, YouTube, it's me, David Harry, your favourite YouTuber and vlogger. Right, so jumping straight into this video, should you be bothering with buying the Action 4 or should you wait for the next GoPro? And I'm assuming that's going to be called the Hero 12. Now, this video is more possibly about putting people off buying either of them. And so let me just dig straight into my rationale here. So what it is, the Action 4 has basically come out in no time at all since the Action 3. So we've got all these clowns on YouTube giving it large about like how great the Action 4 is and blah, blah, blah. But I don't really see anybody saying, hold on a minute, isn't the Action 4 really just a slight improvement over the 3? Or dare we say, it is actually fixing some of the problems that the 3 had, right? So for me, the Action 4 is essentially something that DJI have rushed out in order to try and combat all those like nasty rumors and nasty videos that are being out there showing that the Action 3 wasn't particularly a great camera and it had certain issues. Now, as to how far these things to do with like, you know, close focus were a real issue, I'm not entirely sure. I never bought one of the Action 3s, so I didn't bother testing stuff like that. But going by what was out there, people were getting all bent out of shape in a million ways to do with that stuff. So what I'm saying here is dead simple. DJI have now proven that they are just as unreliable as GoPro. Now, in the past, up until the 3, I think the argument was always DJI are a lot more kind of like, you can rely on a DJI camera a lot more than a GoPro. And I don't think even the most hardened GoPro fans would ever have argued that. I mean, for me, I've actually owned quite a lot of GoPros and DJI cameras, and I can definitely say that the DJI products were always better as far as reliability was concerned. There was just always a ton of things that you would never have wrong on a DJI camera, like compared to like all the like immense amount of things you get wrong on a GoPro. So the thing is, I'm looking at this now going, hold on, do you know what? DJI have basically rushed out this Action 4 for 2 reasons, I think. The first reason is because they've absolutely had a marketing catastrophe with the Action 3. So the 4 is being dragged out as fast as possible to essentially counteract like the bad press that they've had with the 3. Now that within itself, I think, is massively problematic because what it seems like they've done there is took an absolute massive dump on all the people who bought the 3 and decided to kind of like, you know, let's get that into history, into the annals somewhere. Let's quickly get something out which supposedly works better. So as far as I'm concerned, the 4 is basically just a botched version of the 3, which basically like works better than the 3. We still haven't had it out there long enough in the field yet to see, you know, what it can and can't do or where it does and doesn't like, you know, break down and stuff like that. But again, going back to my point, DJI now, as far as I'm concerned, are just as unreliable as GoPro. So let's move over to GoPro. Now, GoPro, the problem with GoPro, they've never released a camera that's ever been 100% working. There has always been some kind of like, you know, issue with the GoPro, even if that's something minor, like maybe, and when I say minor, these things are never minor when they hit you. I mean, you could be out there, you might hit the record button, and then suddenly your camera's switched off, and you're like, what's going on there? Then the next thing you do is like you switch it back on, then you're fine for the rest of the day. It doesn't do it again. Now, even stuff like that, which you can look back on and go, well, actually, that's not a huge problem because it's not quite as huge as like my good YouTube buddy Chris Tomos pointed out recently in one of his comments. When you get like, you know, fogging or condensation going on, when that happens, you are absolutely screwed. There's nothing you can do about that. But there are certain like levels of like annoyances that we've all learned to live to put up with GoPros. And so the thing is with that, you know, I'm looking at it going, yeah, you know, okay, so with the GoPro, you know it's never going to work properly ever 100%. Now that is the absolute wrong mindset to have about these things. However, because we are like, you know, the GoPro sheep, as it were, or I I will definitely admit to being a GoPro sheep, because I am one of those. There are certain levels of like crap that I tend to put up with the GoPro. To be honest, the 12 has actually been a decent camera. I thought the 8 was good as well. The 9 was quite shocking. The 10 I had then got rid of, blah, blah. Previous ones before that, I think it was like the 3 and the 4, which have been the best GoPros ever as far as stability was being concerned. But nonetheless, there are certain levels of like, crap that I am prepared to put up with the GoPro. That is just me being a complete idiot, because you should never put up with crap from any product. But let me bring this back around again before I reel off into some stupid conversation here. Although some people out there are already going, but Dave, this is a stupid conversation. But let me bring it back to the center again. So, as a GoPro user, and somebody who's been into GoPro for a long time, you are definitely prepared to put up with a certain amount of crap. Now, that's not something that DJI fanboys were ever having to do until now, I think. So the thing is, it's like, are DJI now any different to GoPro? As in, they're prepared to completely dump all over their kind of like, not fanboys, but, their customers. They are completely all about dumping over their customers. And what's like evidence of that is the fact that this 4 is definitely some way of trying to like, paper over the cracks, all the trouble that's happened with the 3. What they should have done was offered everybody who had a 3, they should have offered them a free 4 and then stop selling the 3. Or they should have even have called it the 3 Plus or something. These should definitely have been honest and made a point of saying, look, yeah, this one's being rushed out. This is nowhere near the release cycle that they've been on. I mean, what's their release cycle? It's like 3 years or something. Then suddenly they're doing like a release cycle every month or something by the looks of it now. But the thing is, if they were completely honest about it and did like a recall or offered a recall or offered, say, a trade-in or, done something really sensible to like, be good to the current customers who bought into the 3, then I wouldn't have so much of a problem about it, to be honest. But the simple fact is now is that DJI are acting just like GoPro, simple as. So the bottom line here is, and this, I'm gonna have to wind this up because me timer's timing down on my camera. I'm gonna get all that excited trying to talk to the end before I run out. So the bottom line here is this, right? If you're going to get dumped on, right, by either DJI or GoPro, as far as I'm concerned now, it's basically the toss of a coin. It's like toss the coin and see which way it falls. Because let's be honest, between both of those cameras by DJI or the if you take the latest camera by DJI or GoPro, right, and assuming that they're all working correctly, there really isn't that much difference between them. Yes, there is like tonal differences within the picture and stuff like that, but both a DJI and a GoPro camera of like the latest releases, they are both great cameras. There's nothing to say that one's better than the other, because they are both at a level where they are superb little tiny cameras. It just becomes down to personal taste to do with picture tone, because things like the stabilization and stuff is great on both of them. Do you know what I mean? No one can argue that like one is bad for particular things, because neither of them are bad unless they fail and break or like, screw up, because that's bad. So essentially we've got like, two camera manufacturers who definitely give us on paper and in practice great products when they are completely working properly. But right now, my argument is this: DJI have now proven that they can and are just as unreliable as GoPro, and they are prepared to dump on their customers in the exact same way that GoPro have historically done it as well. So right now, you as being a fanboy of either of these two companies, you're not getting anything back out of these companies. They will dump on you. In fact, fanboys are the ones that get dumped on the most, because us fanboys of either of these things are the first bunch of idiots to run out there and buy the stuff and then get dumped on first of all. So yeah, the point here is this: if you're going to buy an action camera now by either DJI or GoPro, just be prepared to be dumped on by them, and don't expect any kind of loyalty through being like, a loyal customer or anything like that. Don't expect anything in return for that from either of those two companies. So suppose the parting line here is probably this: Should you just avoid buying either of them? That's the bottom line. Let me know in the comments section below. This is going to run out. Should you just avoid buying them? So sod off the Action 4 and sod off the upcoming Hero 12. Let me know your thoughts on this. I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.